Good evening. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want things to change, we do need to shift and change ourselves. So the process for that is really knowing where the energy is and understanding how we can take a different perspective or embody a different reaction. But we are the, in my reading, instead of being firmly placed in the hands of someone you're waiting for to express something to you, etc. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the team, Natalia. So I'm on TikTok and YouTube at the same time, which is great for you. If you can't stay for the entire reading, you'll be able to catch the whole thing later on YouTube because it posts it streams live and posts live at the same time. So you can see it later if you can't stay for the whole thing. We are extending the TikTok reading that I started because I accidentally hit the 60-second button and got to this card and realized everybody was going to be left hanging. So I didn't want to leave you hanging. So I will be able to direct you to this video if you want to see the rest of this reading. But basically, I started off the reading by saying, so what is standing in the way right now of your person that you're focused on reaching out to you, contacting you in no contact situations? And I got the Seven of Swords card. And I said in the reading that it was about something about lies, deceit, cheating, sneaking, things like that. But I also drew attention to this word futility right before the video stopped. And when I saw the word futility, the thing that stood out to me the most is that right now the your person's energy is either I can't figure out exactly how to talk to you, so it's like futile to even try. I've tried everything I can think of, and I can't think of anything anymore. It's too difficult. I have to sneak around too much, so it's futile. Or because I have to sneak, because I can't do this out in the open, because I can't be honest about how I want the way that I want to be honest, it's futile to try. So it's not so much that this person is malicious or that they're trying to hide, if you are in a situation with somebody who's in another relationship, then, and you're like, I don't know why my person can't talk to me. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that it's because they're in another relationship. If the question is, why are they in another relationship and not with me? That's a deeper question that probably has something to do more with your perception of yourself and the kind of energy that you project out into the world and attract back towards you than it does to do with the other person and why they're not doing something. It's not because you're not good enough. It's literally because you have somehow convinced yourself that people don't choose you, and so you choose people who have very difficult times either making decisions in general or because they're in a situation where it would be difficult for them to make the decision. Now what you think is true about you is true, right? So this is really more that this person is feeling like, I can't figure it out. I don't have a strategy, and I'm a person who needs a strategy. So without a strategy, this seems kind of futile to me. And what card I pulled as the video cut out was the Knight of Cups, which strongly encouraged me to extend the reading on the YouTube that I was already planning to do, except I wasn't planning to start with the extended reading. I was planning to just start with a completely different reading entirely, but it just seemed like this needed to be said. Because if you start the whole reading with what is standing in the way of this person speaking to you, and you get this card, and then the next card comes out is the card that's about being able to express yourself, there's probably more to the story. The interesting thing is that I'm using a special deck right now. This is the Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. And in the Thoth Tarot, for whatever reason, mainly because he was Aleister Crowley, he decided that there was no king card. There's no king in the court cards, but that the knight would be the king. And that there would be a princess and a prince. and then a queen and a knight. It's Crowley. Who knows? Thank you so much for the likes, and good to see you here at Third Eye Roses. So um because this is that makes this card more complicated for me to read for you, because it's not just a typical Knight of Cups. If it was a typical Knight of Cups, I could say this person's kind of wishy-washy, you know? They don't why aren't they saying anything? Well, they don't know exactly what to say, how to say it. They either have to like cover up lies or reveal things that they did lie about. They they feel like they have to sneak around to talk to you about it. Whatever it is, all those of energy. That's what I would say if this wasn't Aleister Crowley's deck. But because it's Aleister Crowley's deck, it's complicated. That is true, what I just said. That's embodied here in this energy. But with the king level, we know that there's also an element of, can we have like the drum roll, please? Emotional unavailability, because we have in the King of Cups energy somebody who has very deep feelings but isn't in touch with them, in tune with them, or they actually, you know what, I take that back. I actually do think the King of Cups, when it's upright, is in touch with their feelings, but they will put other people's feelings ahead of their own feelings, because they're in the role of protector, and they're in the role of like if you're the king and you're like, I'm really upset about this pandemic because I think we all might die. You can't act like that when you're in charge of people, or else everybody's going to freak out. So rather than cause conflict, you make a masterful choice to disguise or mask or hide your deeper feelings or emotions, so that no one is hurt, or you cause no harm. And it's truly an I want to cause no harm. It's not a malicious energy. So the obstacle for your person is way more complicated than just like, I have to sneak around, or I lied about some things and I have to tell you what those things are, or whatever. It's actually much more that I have learned through my life experience, through, past things that have happened to me, from media, through whatever it is. I have learned that it is better to just make sure everyone around me in my current environment is happy, disregard my own deep feelings, and continue on, plod forward, and just sort of accept that this is how everyone feels, and I'm not special, so I don't get to feel special. I just have to do what's best for everyone else. Which is kind of the mindset of a very kind person, really. It's like, I'll sacrifice my emotional fulfillment for someone else. And that's what's stopping your person. And when you say it that way, you kind of get this feeling of like, can you blame them? How often have you done that? How often have you just been like, rather than tell my mom that I would really like for us to have dinner at 6:30, because I tend to get more clients if I finish my day at 6 o'clock. I don't want to inconvenience the rest of the household. I know that this is actually going to cause me a lot of stress in the long run, because I might lose out on some kind of revenue that would be really helpful right now, and maybe enable me to be able to move out of my mom's house, so that I'm actually not having to like accommodate her needs. But rather than do what feels best to me, I want to make sure that when I go down there, that she's going to be in a mood that's not going to make me feel stressed out or anxious. So I'm just going to appease, because right now what's more important to me is that I feel peace right now, instead of what's like being able to live in a apartment in a couple of months, because I dealt with the narcissistic abuse in my home by separating myself and creating a boundary. So that's the problem with the twin flame dynamic, isn't it? The person that you love, that you ask yourself, why do I love this person? This person does not treat me well. When you step back from this person, as you learn along this journey, when you step back from this person, you're always finding that you can make excuses for them. You can make excuses. Maybe don't make excuses for everybody, but for this person you can. And you find yourself asking, why am I able to make excuses for this person? And it's because deep down, you understand why they're acting the way they act, for a couple of reasons. Everything I just said, they feel these things in the same way that you feel them. And the other reason is that deep, deep down, you feel you deserve to be treated like that on some level because of a belief that you have that that's how people who love each other act towards one another. And until you start to heal the parts of yourself that learned those lessons and teach that part of yourself something different, you're probably going to keep attracting these relationships. Which is why when people are like, well, I just don't want to be with my twin anymore, I'm just going to be with someone else, it never really works out because most people who are in this dynamic come in with some kind of a wounding that prevents them from being able to navigate this specific thing, which is people pleasing to the point of abandoning yourself. And your fear, the reason why you are people pleaser. Your person is doing, okay, let's help because you're both doing this. Let's help you. We've got futility. We've got emotional unavailability. Where did you learn this lesson maybe? Oh, we got the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups, I'm hearing the Stone Temple Pilots song, I think. I think it's them. The something. Oh no, Nirvana. Something in the way. Okay. So somewhere down the line throughout your existence and your person's existence, there has been this lesson, which is there's always something in the way of being able to do what I love. So you learned this probably from your parents, guardians. It smells like resentment to me. Like, you know, you like in a situation where your parents have children and they have obligations and they didn't get to do what they wanted and they just kind of they quote unquote sacrificed their lives for you even though you didn't ask them to do that. And it's got that kind of a feeling, like a background thing, like where you learned that your presence may have been in the way of the adults in your life. Like that was a lesson you learned, like I'm in the way of them doing what they love, being who they want to be, loving who they want to love, right? Like I was born, I was the firstborn, like shortly after the wedding, kind of a child, and I've always felt like my parents, who had not a happy marriage and still don't, I was like, oh, it's my fault that they are like this, right? So there's some kind of a feeling of like it could be similar to the way like me having that kind of a wound. It might be something like that, or it could be like a benign neglect situation where a parent was kind, but they had a job and the job always got in the way of them coming to your sports events or coming to support you in artistic endeavors. Or your parents had a vision of you. They thought that you should be like this and it wasn't your vision. And so their vision got in the way of them seeing who you really were. There are so many ways people in the Twin Flame Collective hold up a Three of Cups or a Three of Wands or a Three of Pentacles, and they're always like, oh, this is about a third party. And then it's immediately, it's about somebody's cheating. There's so much more nuance to these cards, and there's so much more depth. And even if this did represent a third party energy, the third party energy exists not independent of the wound. So it's actually looking at these things that come from your childhood that are more beneficial to you when you're listening to readings. If you're listening to readings to get information about another person, and just that information about another person, you will be listening to readings for information about that person for many years. And I'm not exaggerating with the years thing. Ask around people how many years they've been in a twin flame dynamic. What do you spend the first couple years of twin flame dynamic doing? You watch readings. You literally just watch readings. And when there wasn't readings on the internet to watch, I'm sure you read esoteric books about it. And this is like, so everybody always comes to try to learn about their person first. What you find out is that after years, and it usually is years for people, after years of listening to the readings and just, being like, why won't my person do the work? At some point, you recognize that you watching the readings is a sign that you're not doing the work because you are still watching readings about someone else, trying to learn more about someone else, not trying to learn about yourself, not trying to learn what the third cup is in the Two of Cups. Every time you see the third cup, you're like, oh, it's that bitch that this person is focused on now instead of me. Instead of The third cup in the Three of Cups is actually the person you're focused on. The Two Cups is your relationship with the divine. And if you don't have one, then that's why you don't have a good relationship here either. So there is this belief that you have picked up that there will always be something in the way of really getting to enjoy life. Either love the person you want to love, practice the religion you want to, nothing more important than your connection with the divine. And if that sounds like you're at church on Sunday, my apologies. I don't want to trigger anybody with traumatic religious wounding. But unfortunately, there's no other way to say that because it's the truth. And the way that they have tried to educate us about that relationship is all wonky because we don't really need much education. All we have to do is literally feel things and trust what we feel and use our mind to assess those feelings. And that is a connection to the higher self. That's the connection to the divine, the inspiration that comes when you're suddenly inspired to do something, the moment when you think of somebody and then they call you, the when you get cold chills when you listen to music, you get, goosebumps when you listen to music or something. All those things are that's your connection to the divine. It's not complicated. You don't have to go to church every single Sunday and do every single exact thing like a man said that you had to do one time. But there's advice throughout all these different ways of connecting with deity that really can be helpful. And if it's not too wounding for you or triggering for you, it can be very fulfilling. And what you find out is the more you practice this way, the better your life is, regardless of who's in your DMs and like what's going on. Like I've always been a spiritual person since I was a child, and I was raised in a very my mother was Catholic, and we were required to be Catholic, and like I had to go through all of the sacraments, but I was actually interested in it and wanted to learn about it. Although I did doubt it all because my dad was not religious. He was spiritual but had no belief system. And so because of that, I had this openness where I was like, well, this is how my mom practices, and this is one way. And the second they told me that the only way to go to heaven or whatever was that you had to be Catholic, I was like in fourth grade, I remember. And I got in a huge fight with my teacher. I was like, that's not fucking true. I know that because like you're sitting here this whole time telling me loving God, merciful God. Okay. Why would a loving, merciful God say that my dad, who's like my dad, hasn't killed anybody, isn't committing any heinous crimes, he just can't go to heaven because he doesn't like come to Bible study? So that kept me awake. And then one of my best friends, once I got into junior high, was Muslim, and so I started learning about Islam. And then it was during a time when we went through, like, soon after I graduated from high school, we went through 9/11, and everybody was all up in arms against people who were practicing Islam. And I've always just been on the fringe of everything, but spiritual the whole time. And I knew that, like, if there was something that was expressed over and over again throughout time, that would indicate that it was a truth. But the idea that one group of people would know every single aspect of that truth struck me as highly unlikely, because that literally wouldn't make sense. Like, we all don't speak the same language, so there's not one true language, so there's probably not one true way to experience deity. But the point is, you need to because it's the only relationship that matters. And you'll keep having this happen. You'll keep having these readings over and over again. You'll keep, and I'm just saying words right now. And as Abraham Hicks says, words don't teach, but experiences do. So really what's going to happen is I'm going to tell you this today. The majority of you are going to be like, yeah, it sounds good. Maybe some of you didn't even watch the whole thing, but the ones that did watch it, you get to this point, you're like, yeah, I do need to do that. And you're probably not going to do it right away, but you're going to have a tower moment, and you're going to reach out to some form of deity, whatever that is, and you're going to remember what I said, and you're going to get through the tower moment, and you're going to have gotten through it because of your connection to your deity. And then you're going to reinforce that memory of what I said. And then you're going to find a way to incorporate it every day. And then when you do that, that's when you see a lot of change. I just started doing, like, I don't let a day go by without spending time with my guides in a way where it's a sacrifice of my time. So, it's actually not a sacrifice. It ends up just a few prayers to my guides every day with that same kind of like, no argument, you're just going to do it. And that has really changed a lot. And even the last few days, I felt heavy energy from the full moon, but having that practice has been very healing for me. So your relationship with your guides, spirit, the universe, God, goddess, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, because it doesn't matter. It's all an expression of the divine. That is the only thing that's going to help you with this kind of a relationship. Because focusing on the other person doesn't work, right? It doesn't. It's so hard to accept it, but it doesn't. It just causes them to focus on themselves even more. And it takes your focus off of yourself, which causes them to also stop focusing on you. Look at what I just got. The 4 of Wands. This is what you're after, these stable, healthy relationships. These are both cards of celebration, also, of having a good time, and reuniting with somebody. So I do feel like things are really confusing right now. The 7 of Swords is just giving me this, like, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know, like, even things like where to do this, or where, like, it's like some practical and strategic things combined with, like, I don't want to hurt anyone and I don't want to be hurt. And it's all of that, all kind of like bunched up together. But once it's worked out, and I do believe it will be, you've got this. And I'm seeing, this is so confirming. I've been thinking about this hard. I'm so glad that it's confirming for you and that you needed to hear that message today. I'm telling you, it's life-changing. And let me tell you what, deity practice is fun. Each one of my decks, I have 4. I'm gonna pull a card from each one of my deities right now, just to emphasize this relationship. Also, Crowley is one of my guides. So technically this Crowley deck, and this is my Godfrey Dowson deck. So these two dudes made these decks together. These are the Order of the Golden Dawn dudes. There's 4 people that made decks, and the one that you know most I was going to say most ardently, but that's not the right terminology. So somebody must be thinking about Pride and Prejudice here. This one that y'all know, this is the Smithwaite, Pamela Smith, and Pamela Coleman Smith, and whatever the other dude's name is. But they all were in the Order of the Golden Dawn together. This is my very first deck, so I don't use that one as often anymore, but I used to use it all the time. And they all made decks. So these 2 decks are theirs. So these are like my witchy guides. But Crowley, we have a weird relationship, don't we, Crowley? He's problematic for me. We're still working on our relationship. But then I have these other decks, and I choose a deity, and I like connect the deity with the deck. And then, so for instance, this one, I just switched out all my decks. I do it like every few weeks to change up the imagery. This is the Small Spells Tarot. I don't see people using this one a lot. And to be honest, I never got the book with it. So I have always just been like, well, guess I'm just reading this straight from what I'm inspired to see, because I don't know the actual guidebook for it. But that one's going to be Nike's. And it's so funny because I knew right away that it was Nike's. And I was like, why did I feel like I was going to give this to the goddess Nike? And then afterwards, I was laughing so hard because I must have remembered, even though I didn't actually remember consciously, that the 6 of Wands, which is Nike's card of victory, it's got the laurel wreath in it normally, and she's the holder of the cherished laurel. It has basketballs on it. I was like, oh my God, of course this is Nike's deck. That's so perfect. So we're going to ask Nike today, just like we do on Monday, we're going to ask her about this struggle, because we know that this is blocking this person from communicating. So we're going to actually ask her how to overcome this struggle. Raphael, I was using ethereal visions for him, but now we're going to be doing the angel tarot. This is a difficult deck to read, and it's a very heavy energy. You were using Crowley today too? That deck is interesting, isn't it? Well, yeah. Also, I forgot that all of the suits in this deck, like the wands and the pentacles and everything, they are a panoramic view. They literally form one whole panoramic view when you lay them out. I was like, oh my god, I chose that for pan, and it's literally the panoramic deck. And then Sedna, I was using the Housewives Tarot, but I put that one away for a while, even though that one's so good, just because I needed a change. And I was actually going to do this one deck for her, and then at the last minute realized that she probably wanted this one, and I pulled, and she did. This is the Horror Tarot. She's like she's the most intense of all of my guides. She's like almost like undead looking, kind of, like The Ring. Like some scary shit. Anyway, Horror Tarot is perfect for Sedna. So let's do this reading with these 4 decks now, just to help us with this obstacle that we just pulled on, so we can get to this positive outcome, which was the 3 of Cups and the 4 of Wands. I love to get there, so let's get us there. All right, so the obstacle, this is what we can do to work on that obstacle of people pleasing and all that stuff we talked about. Let's see. What will be best for us? We'll get from Nike. Wow. Okay. This card is haunting me. The 7 of Cups. This is all about opportunities and choices. And very interesting that it's a 7 in response to the obstacle of the 7. And also Cups, because we did have the Knight of Cups there. So that seems significant to me. What this is telling me is this feeling of futility. I've tried everything. This card is like, no, you haven't. No, you haven't. It's like, I don't know which way to go. I'm not sure. And this card is like, okay, that might be true. You might not know exactly where to go, but you know what's great about that? We just talked about it. This card, the 3 of Cups, the union with deity, ask, which way should I go? The 7 of Cups is all about, if you see the original, it shows, it's one of the only figures shown in the Smith-Waite deck where the character, the figure on it is a silhouette. It's all black, as if it's vacuous. And it's looking at all of the cups as if it's going to fill itself up with one of them, right? But it's this idea that, like, I can't possibly choose. I don't know what is best for me. And I'm trying to fill a void with whatever I'm choosing, because the ego is trying to make the decision. So if you take your ego out of it, that part of the self that feels desperate and is trying any way to fill this feeling, and instead fill that feeling with the connection to the divine, in that process of calling in the divine, you can say, hey, how should I do this? And the divine literally is going to say, sit back and relax. I will take care of it. It's handled. I will inspire you to exactly what you need to do. You don't have to figure out how to do it. You just have to remember why you want to, because that why is the ego's inspiration to ask me to help expand you. And that's it. Get out of the way. You're actually standing in the way of me giving this to you. Trying to give it to you, babe. Trying to give it to you, and you're really working hard to keep it away. Because when you try to figure out how to do it, what you're saying is, I don't believe you're going to give it to me. So I don't believe my higher self is capable. So I need to come up with another strategy to outwit my higher self, because I don't believe I'm actually truly capable of this in some way. Every time you do that, you push it away from you, pushing it away. All right, let's get the healing. So what is happening? What is being taken care of? What is being handled behind the scenes for us while this obstacle of being a little bit confused about how to come forward is being worked on? What the hell? We got the Six of Wands, which I just held up from the other deck as Nike's card. Raphael being like pulling our attention to that Nike's deck and what is there. So what is being healed is related to overcoming obstacles. And then we have the King of Pentacles here. The angels that have come out are going to, I don't have good Hebrew yet. So I'm not going to try to pronounce them, but Seehiah, Sihaya, and Lehahiah. Lahahia. I'm learning Arabic, but not Hebrew. So unfortunately, I can't do the Arabic pronunciation. But these are the angels that are here too. So you might want to take note of these two angels. One says, God who took evil. That's on the Six of Wands. And the other says, the adored God. So what is being healed behind the scenes, what is being taken care of is this ability for the matter, the physical matter, the material, that's what the King of Pentacles is, for this matter to actually accompany this victory. Because what I'm being shown is you've already achieved success here, which is why you're confused. The confusion is like, I do all this stuff? Like, where's my stuff? Like, it's almost like you got on a plane, you put your you checked your bags, you flew in the plane, you traveled all this way, you get off the plane, you go to pick your baggage up, and you're like, where's my baggage? And the thing is, you didn't do anything wrong. Your baggage got lost like in transit, and you have to wait now for this baggage to come to you. And it's not like it's not a punishment. It's not because you didn't do anything wrong. It's actually because someone else in the mix fumbled something, which is giving me a sense that your baggage in this case relies on someone else, the King of Pentacles, the physical person that we started this whole entire reading about. It relies on that person aligning in just the right way so that that luggage can appear where it belongs. And so that when it's telling you to just don't worry about it, I'm taking care of it, get out of your own way, it's saying, trust me, I handle this material. The way your person is acting right now, I'm handling it. And it's not that I'm coming in and changing their free will. No, as your mindset is changing, I'm changing the material to match your new mindset. If your mindset doesn't change, I can't affect the material. But if your mindset changes to, my person is feeling worthy, my person is able to come forward, my person is able to communicate, my person considers one of the people they want to please me, okay? Like, and also themselves, because if they wanted to please themselves, they would choose me, because that's what they literally want to do, right? So all that stuff, it's being taken care of. This is Raphael's deck. Archangel Raphael is the archangel in the Bible that shows up when Tobias is looking for a wife, and he's in all this trouble, and he comes as this old dude who, in my opinion, having seen a vision of Archangel Raphael, looks like Anderson Cooper. And he tries to, he also has a young version of himself that looks like Prince Valiant. And then he's also a 30-foot tall pillar of light that is terrifying and talks louder than a rock concert. And that you can Google. But anyway, he shows up and he helps Tobias find his wife and be in a relationship. It's literally why he's known to be associated with divine relationships, connections, and marriage. He's also the healer associated with healers. He's basically the, for lack of a better term, twin flame angel, although again, that is lack of a better term because that term is pretty inaccurate. But regardless, he's doing it. He's doing it, okay? So just relax. And the more you check the temperature, you keep opening the oven. I'm not a baker. I'm a cooker because I love classical music. I actually prefer classical music to jazz music most of the time. But in the kitchen, I play jazz. And you can improvise when you cook. You can change the temperature. You actually have to. You have to bring it up. You have to bring it down. You have to do this. You have to do that. Can you believe this? And you have to put it in the oven at just the right time. And if you fucking open that oven before it's ready, that shit falls right down and you can't eat it. And it's literally ruined. One time I made something, wrong amount of salt, the squirrels rejected it. The fucking squirrel, I put outside, the squirrel's like, oh, it's so excited, starts to eat it, spit it out, walked away, told his friends it was abandoned. No one else tried it. Like, you can destroy something you bake. So this is the kind of thing, when you check the oven over and over, I want you to think of it as that cake was rising. Oh, it's rising. Oh, it smells so good. It smells like it's done. Is it done? Should I check it? No. Don't check to see if it's done. Wait till the timer goes off. You are going to know the sound of the timer. You've heard it before. It's going to go ding, and you're going to be like, oh, it's time to see the cake. So don't check before the cake is done. That's what Raphael is telling me. That really does keep messing things up. Why? When you gauge 3D, before the 3D is ready, you take 2 steps back, because now you have to convince yourself that what you were already convincing yourself works, when you gave in to the doubt and proved the doubt part of it before it could give you the opportunity to prove that it was happening. Frustrated as I bring these messages through. I told my brother I felt like shit today, like really shitty, bad. Like it was not good. And I said, I'm going to go do a reading. It's going to be one of my best readings. And he's like, really? I said, yeah, I feel my worst, so it's going to be the best. And he said, why? And I said, because when I feel the worst, my ego is so pessimistic. And I'm just like, nothing's working out. Nothing's changing. I was supposed to have something by now. I don't. I can't do this. I can't do that. Nothing works, blah, blah, blah. When I'm there and I go to read cards, that proves to me that what I do is real. Because if I can come to you in that energy and shuffle my cards and then give you a reading like the one I just gave you, it will be for me my best reading, because I will be proving to myself that there is something higher than me, larger than me, wiser than me, that cuts through even the loudest baby fit tantrum that I could possibly have. And I am loud and I cry and I yell, and it will cut through even that. And it will bring you a peaceful message. And there will be at least one person here who's healed today. And I'm one of the people that's affected by it, because I already feel better right now doing this reading. So it's very powerful, that connection to the divine. And when your ego is no longer in charge and has to take a back seat in the chariot energy and let the divine drive the chariot, it actually starts to feel good. Your ego enjoys this connection. This makes me feel good. My ego's like, oh, I like the way this feels. I like the way that it feels like I know where I'm going. I can see where I'm going. I like the way it feels that like there's something else driving. That's actually good. It turns out I like to be that bitch in the back of a limo. Like, put me in a limo. I don't want to be driving my own limo. I don't want to be I don't want to be doing my own fucking social media marketing. I don't want to do that. I want to wake up in the morning and be like, I feel creative. And, just suddenly someone's there to capture it for me. That's what I want. So why am I resisting that so much? Isn't it a mystery? Because you don't have faith that the person that you've put in charge, your higher self, can accomplish it. You doubt yourself. You've been taught to do that, so that you will trust others, so that you will obey, because you must obey in order for all of this stuff to work. The Four of Wands is what Pan is bringing us. This is what we're attracting. We're literally attracting, as we just know that this obstacle of being confused about what the fuck is going on right now, when we know we should have all the things, but we have nothing, is being handled by Raphael. We don't have to worry about it. The person that we're focused on, stop fucking worrying about it. Success with this person is guaranteed. Who's guaranteeing it? Raphael is guaranteeing it. Pan saying, what are you attracting? Well, while you're doing that, by the way, you know Pan, right? He's the Pied Piper of Hamelin. He plays the flute, and all the children follow him out to the city. All the rats and the children, like Kid style. And he's Peter Pan, the person who's supposed to keep you a child forever. Because in order to imagine this amazing world that has all this stuff in it, you have to be childlike. So he's that energy. He's also Tumnus, Mr. Tum, being entity, whatever you want to call it, is saying you're attracting exactly what is the healing that you need. The Four of Wands, a stable, healthy relationship. If you can just shut up about it, you'll get it. If you can just stop doubting it, it's here. Okay? And then the final crowning glory, this one's always a little painful. We have to shuffle till we get a major arcana card from Senna. When she gives us the major card, we'll know what deep wound we've been healing. Any minor cards, minor arcana cards that come out, those are the little things that we're cleaning up. And if we get a major card right away, it means we've already done it. And the only thing that's keeping us from accepting it is our own disbelief. So let's see what Senna has to tell us. We got a 5 of Pentacles. All right, we got a lack mindset. We got a disconnection from spirit, being outside, wanting to be in, connected to spirit. And we got the Empress. All right, that means we're right there. We're right there. The only thing stopping you from this connection, from having this 4 of Wands, from celebrating with this 3 of Cups energy, from being in union, is that you have kept yourself outside in the cold when you could be inside of the sanctuary with your deity. Whoever that is, whatever that energy is, if it's just your higher version of self, your belief, faith, trust, whatever in that higher version of self, this is the only thing stopping you. It is the only thing stopping the person you're focused on. Because if you don't believe in yourself, they don't believe in themselves, and they can't fully believe and trust in you either. If you can't trust in yourself, how can you believe or trust in anyone else? Unless you deify them or put them on a pedestal. And if you deify them or put them on a pedestal, then they're higher than you, and you don't feel worthy of them. So this, for me, this is, you're right at the Empress energy. You're right at the place of receiving all of the abundance. The cure to the 5 of Pentacles is that Empress energy. So the more you really, really think about what her power is, what's the Empress's power? As a mother, as a divine mother, as somebody who's conceived not only of a child, but also creations like music, art, whatever, I would think that the most important quality is the ability to receive. I had to receive seed and then grow it. I had to receive inspiration and I had to let it grow within me. And that process is one that is inward and it is silent and it is, and it takes time. And I have to nourish it. I have to feed it the right things. So if I'm trying to create a record, I've got to listen to music that's going to inspire me. I've got to listen to the mixes that are going to inspire how I'm going to mix it. I have to watch music videos so I know what kind of videos I'm going to perform, right? So the food, the nourishment that I give my growing conception of the record is all of that time and information and energy, right? There's a lot of women who will come to me in various states of trying to conceive and will ask for like fertility readings, etc. And the number one thing I say to anybody who's struggling with fertility, first of all, say a prayer to your deity for 9 days. Also, put that 9-day mark on it. Pray for something for 9 days and then stop praying for it. Because if you keep praying for something, it means you don't believe you're going to get it. You believe you keep having to feed it energy. Pray for 9 days and let it go. So first of all, just do that. Just really innocently, purely pray that your reproductive system will be healed or whatever it is for 9 days. Just start there. The second piece is when you do that, what's going to happen? And what you're going to do is you're going to pray for your reproductive system and for healthy conception. Because what that's going to do is open you up and you're going to start to receive inspiration. It's crazy. You're going to want to knit stuff. You're going to want to draw stuff and paint stuff. After I did those prayers, because I did that prayer for 9 days, I was making all those collages and I'm still making stuff. I'm still making music. I'm still doing all these collages and stuff. So you're going to start to get these insights and inspiration, and you have to be quiet to receive that. You have to be, since you're not nourishing right now, find a way to nourish it. You know, a lot of people will say they're limited because of money, or they're limited because they don't have a partner. Like, oh, I want physical affection. How do I give myself physical affection? Well, first of all, we live in a day and age where there are many devices for that. And I highly recommend a few of them. But there's also having a pet, having something that you can physically touch or interact with, hugging your friends more, hugging your family more, being like you literally everything you are doing is sending out, like, it's resonant. It's resonant, and the things that match it are just drawn to it. That just seems to be the way that the world works in terms of physics and in terms of energy, and we are energy and we work that way. So all right, let me give you a couple oracles to close, and then we can close this up. If you are really feeling that you are being healed and inspired by this reading, which I hope that you are, please go and help me out. I have some travel next week, and I am going to be having quite a lot of expenses from the travel. So please book readings. Also, make sure you get readings over the next couple of days, because when I'm traveling, I won't be doing readings for a few days. So if you want to get on my schedule soon. I think I'm going to be gone. I have to adjust my schedule on my website, but I'm going to be gone from the 26th through the 30th or so. I'm excited. Actually, I'm very excited. It's going to be fun. Okay. And let's see. One more. We'll get one of my Samhain cards too. Oh, I love the card that came up. It actually reminds me of one thing I left out about deity work. I talked about the different gods, goddesses, angels, or whatever that I work with. And of course, you can work with just one too. If you're a person that is really uncomfortable with the pantheon, you're absolutely able to just work with, one entity. But you can also call in your ancestors. And that's what this card is reminding me to talk about. We've got stone people here. And on the card, it says knowing. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of S words here, I guess. There we go, stone people. A knowing will be revealed to you. Stone people are the record keepers of the planet and hold the knowledge you now require. Connecting with these teachers stirs ancient buried memories of honoring nature and shamanic ways. You know deep within that this is the truth of who you are. You have spent many nights staring at stars, feeling the magic of a wooded grove, and hearing the whispers of the ancestors in the breeze. Great mystery surrounds stone circles. The stones hold the secrets of all they have witnessed. There are many aspects of history that are still to be discovered. Stone people brings you back to your very roots. Slow your mind to connect with this energy. The right stone will be put in your path. It might be a tiny pebble, a rock, or a large boulder. Hold the stone so that your past is revealed and unanswered questions can come to light. Breathe in the knowledge that stone people wishes to impart. Be ready for that aha moment. This is interesting because we started the whole entire reading with talking about what was the obstacle in front of us. And it's telling us to look at that stone, even if it's a boulder. It's almost like telling us to look at the obstacle that forced us to be still. Kind of, that's an interesting thing. It says, be clear about your intentions. Investigate thoroughly before proceeding. Some information you require will be presented unexpectedly, which can also come with the Seven of Swords energy, by the way. That can indicate that somebody wants to surprise you, which is why you may not have heard from them yet. A return to study. You know more than you realize. Be open to esoteric information and meditate at a sacred stone circle. The stone people speaks. Silently, we've watched the past. Memories saved within to last. Is a very grounding earth energy. And we're getting greet the darkness as your healing energy from the Samhain Oracle. And this is a cool oracle. I love this one. It's number 19. And we need to do a collaborative reading. I would love to do that. And I need to actually make real plans with you to do that. Third eye roses. Okay, greet the darkness. Here where the spine bends and the mouth quivers, breathes the hidden, the pieces that make you whole, but cut deep with all of their sharp edges. Damn, this freaking oracle is so good. Darkness. You might get a sense of terror from what you can't see, which is like that figure of in the Seven of Cups with the person that like is, you can't see which path or how it's going to work out, and so you might be afraid. But not all hidden things are bad. There are many things you cannot see that hold the secret to life, abundance, and renewal. Like the lotus flower that blooms from the darkness of muddy waters, there is beauty in the darkness for those who know where to look with their heart. So you are ready to bring your inner truths to the surface. You've done a lot of healing and exploration. Your guides, however, want you to know that you cannot remain in the darkness forever. You will have to rise and allow those hidden parts to see the light of day. And what would be the solution to hiding parts of yourself? Bringing those parts to light. And what is the result of doing that? Joy. The Three of Cups, fulfillment, harmony, the Four of Wands, stability, celebration, positive, healthy relationships, solid foundation. Get it. Get it. All right, everybody. That's all she wrote. I would say that I'd have, I'm going to do personal readings. If you want a personal reading tonight, I'm going to do them over on TikTok. I'm on my Tuned In Tarot profile, or Tuned In Pearl. I think it's Tuned In Tarot is the one that you got to type in. But I'm over there right now. And hi, how are you, Lydney? Hi, Laura. Also, good to see you over there. So if you want to hop over to the my TikTok, I'm going to be doing some personal readings there now for anybody who may need it. It's $33, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. If you would like a private reading instead of a live reading, you can click the link in my profile. There are some options there. There is a discount right now. To get the discount, you must hop on the wait list. I will not bother you with a bunch of emails, but if I'm going to be doing a live stream on my website, which I'm planning to do in a few weeks, where I'm going to sing, I'm going to perform some music, I'm going to read some cards, and I will do readings for anybody who attends. So if you are interested in that kind of an event, I will be letting people know when those events are on the wait list, and you will be the first to either purchase tickets if it's a situation where there's tickets to pay for, or reserve your spot if it's a free event. So that's what the wait list is. When you sign up for it and you go to the wait list page, there's a place, when you click the button, as you scroll down, there's a discount code for 20% off of any of my services. And you can also get I would tell you what it is right now, but I honestly can't remember. I think it might be Live 20, but I'm not sure. So definitely go click on that just to make sure. But it's also emailed to you after you sign the wait list. I think it comes in like the confirmation email too. So if you want to just double check it, but I think it's Live 20. Pretty sure. Anyway, so that is available, but go ahead, click that waitlist so that you know when I'm going to start doing live streams, because I may start to do more live streams on my actual site instead of via TikTok. I want to, and YouTube. I want to see how that works, to have some more like private kind of events, or maybe have like members only. So I want to just try the live stream thing out, and I want to make sure that I'm emailing people who want to be involved in it, because lately people are not seeing me in their FYP. My sister said she has offers that no one has been able to take advantage of. And I feel like if I have this wait list for people I know, like, you want to know when I go live, I can just send you a message. I'm going live on this night, whatever. See if it will improve, because I've been having a really hard time financially still. It's been a year. Like, I was doing great. And then once I moved here, everything just really took a turn, and it's been hard for me to figure out exactly where everybody is. People will send me DMs sometimes like, I don't see you anymore, or they'll like post on my Pearls Prayers account and never have seen my Tuned In Tarot. It's wild. I'm like, TikTok was how I met everybody, and now it's pretty much making sure no one sees me. Instagram, the same thing happened. That's why I switched to TikTok when I did. Isn't it crazy? So anyway, all right, I'm gonna let everybody go here now over on YouTube. Take care. Hopping over here to TikTok, and I will see you tomorrow. YouTube, have the best night. And if there's anybody